watching closely?
Okay, so The Prestige is one of those movies that the first time I watched it, I must admit, I didn't really get it. I knew it was good, but I didn't fully appreciate just how brilliant it actually is. Like, that's the thing with Christopher Nolan, right? He's not just making films, he's re engineering how we think about storytelling on screen.
We want people really to be aware of the effect the film is having on them as it's unfolding before their eyes.
When I saw Memento for the first time, I just knew there was something special happening here.
You wander around playing detective. Maybe you should start investigating yourself.
It just turned me into a fanboy, and that was my entry point into Nolan's world.
Shoot me. Come on.
No, I can't.
Do it! How'd you like that?
How do you do it?
Out of all of his films, honestly, I think The Prestige stands as the most underrated masterpiece he's ever made. Its cinematic genius layered so deep, it's almost impossible to unpack on the first watch. So let me try to unpack it.
Every great magic trick consists of 3 acts. The first act is called the pledge. The magician shows you something ordinary, but of course, it probably isn't.
See, the thing about thrillers, and especially Nolan thrillers, is that they operate like a magic trick, right? The filmmaker's job is misdirection. You're looking right at the secret the whole time, but you don't see it until the very end. And The Prestige doesn't just do this once, it does it over and over. Nolan gives us multiple twists. It's like a magician doing sleight of hand, but on a narrative level. And what's clever is, he tells you this right from the start. With Michael Caine's opening monologue, it's practically a confession.
The second act is called the turn.
He's obsessed with discovering your method.
The magician makes this ordinary something do something extraordinary.
Okay, so if you know Christopher Nolan, you know he's obsessed with time. And not just in Inception or Tenet or Memento, right? The Prestige uses time structurally to throw us off balance. We're constantly jumping between timelines without being told when we are. Scenes from different parts of the story are intercut without warning, so you're left stitching things together yourself. This nonlinear structure creates suspense, but it also serves the film's bigger purpose: misdirection. We're too busy trying to keep up with the when to notice the what. Okay, then there's the real core of this movie. The big idea that for me ties everything together. It's duplication. From the opening image with the scattered top hats, to the birds in the cage, to Tesla's machine, the theme is everywhere. And it's not just visual or symbolic, it's woven directly into the characters. You've got Borden and Angier, 2 magicians who are essentially mirrors of each other, both pretending to be someone else. They start out as rivals, but their obsession with outdoing each other turns them into 2 sides of the same coin. They become duplicates in spirit, even as they destroy themselves in the process. And of course, right, there's the big twist. Borden is literally 2 people, identical twins living as one man. But then you have Angier, who refuses to believe it. But he's also a version of someone else, having changed his name and identity as Lord Cornwall to Angier and then the Great Danton. One character changes faces, the other changes names. And that's what makes it brilliant. Nolan tells you it's a trick. He even shows it to you, but he hides it in plain sight. Blatantly there from the very first shot to the very last shot. Literally duplicates of each other.
That's why there's a third act called the Prestige. This is the part with the twists and turns, where lives hang in the balance.
One of the most impressive things about The Prestige is how many times it tells you the truth, but in a way that makes you ignore it. Like when the little boy says, "Where's his brother?" after the bird trick. That's when the film is telling you the answer to the mystery, right there. Or when Borden's wife says, "You mean it today?" after he says he loves her. That's the emotional giveaway that 2 different people are living the same life. or when he transports from outside of the apartment to inside of the apartment. It's all right there. It just keeps sitting in front of you and you just miss it. Even the journals, which seem like a narrative device to help us understand the characters, they're misdirections. They're full of lies planted intentionally to manipulate each character and, by extension, us. By the way, in a sense, also duplicates. And then there's Fallon, Borden's quiet, unassuming assistant who's in scene after scene from the very beginning, but never draws attention to himself. That's because he's also a trick in plain sight. The other twin, he's been there the whole time, right in front of us, and for some reason, we never look twice until Nolan makes us at the absolute moment of his choosing. Like, that's insane. It's genius. Oh my gosh. The whole film is a magic trick built with a series of magic tricks about magic tricks. Now, there's also Tesla. So let's talk about that for a second. Tesla's inclusion in the movie isn't random. He represents the idea of genius misunderstood, the real magic behind the illusion. But even he's part of the duplication theme. His rivalry with Edison mirrors Borden and Angier. Edison had the fame. Tesla had the brilliance. Direct current versus alternating current. Do a little bit of history to understand that. Duplication through opposition. And Tesla gives Angier something no one else in the film has. Actual magic. A machine that literally duplicates him. Now, I've got to pause here. See, this is something I used to loathe. I didn't understand it. It just seemed illogical. Where everything in the movie kind of had this grounded realism and made sense. That's the one thing that kind of felt weird for me the entire time. But when I was watching it this last time, it was crazy because I understood it. See, that's the point. Once real magic entered the story, it became less magical. Because what makes Borden's trick so powerful is that it's human. It's built on sacrifice, obsession, and pain. No machine, no effects, no science. Just commitment. A level of commitment that most of us could never fathom. And that, in the end, is more impressive than any supernatural reveal. And it's also a nod from Christopher Nolan to say that science is magic, according to him.
Interesting relationship in the film between the scientists of the day, who were essentially the new magicians.
Okay, now, everyone else in this movie is kind of either lying, pretending, playing a part. All the main characters are going through some sort of emotional conflict or playing a dual role. There's only one person who never wavers. That's Michael Caine's character, Cutter. He tells us what the trick is, straight up, the whole movie. He says Borden's using a double. He says the transported man is just a man using a trapdoor. He's the only character who stays grounded in reality, and he's ignored the entire time. And that's the brilliance of it. We, the audience, want to believe there's something more. We want the prestige to be something magical. We refuse the simplest explanation because it feels unsatisfying. We want more. We want something extraordinary. We search for it in our lives. It's in our behavior to break away from the mundane because reality feels like a trap.
The audience knows the truth. The world is simple, miserable, solid all the way through.
Which brings us to the film's emotional core, the duality of obsession versus passion. Both characters are chasing greatness, but they're also obsessed, and those two things don't coexist peacefully. See, they destroy themselves because they refuse to let go of obsession. They couldn't stop trying to outdo the other without destroying each other. They couldn't coexist, like Edison and Tesla, like direct and alternating current, like the birds that have to die so the other one can be revealed for the sake of the magic trick. And that's what Nolan is really exploring here. You can't be torn in two and survive. You can't live for revenge and love at the same time. You can't be consumed by two obsessions and not get burned. Borden learns that in the end by losing half of himself, the part that couldn't let go.
Angia! They're gonna bloody hang me! They're gonna bloody hang me! You can put a stop to this now!
Angier doesn't, even after being given a bird trick that doesn't need him to kill one. He doesn't learn and pays the ultimate price. So, in conclusion, when I rewatched The Prestige for the third, fourth, even fifth, I've lost count, I started noticing things I'd never seen before. Characters and attention to detail, lines of dialogue that just started hitting differently when you really start to unravel and connect all the pieces. Visual clues that were there the entire time. And that's what makes it a masterpiece. Not because of the twist that's hidden and then gets suddenly revealed, but because the twist doesn't cheat. It literally is right there. The story tells you everything. We, just like Angier, refuse to believe it. So yeah, The Prestige isn't just a great movie. It is a perfect movie. It is a perfect illusion. And once you see the secret, you realize that the question that's asked in the movie was to you: are you watching closely?